Okay, hi. How's that for a new introduction? Still working on it. Still working on it. Maybe that'll be part of the flavor of the live streams. Is me wrestling with, tumbling over, and otherwise failing to engage with, coming up with a catchy intro. Jerzy Drozd, cartoonist and teaching artist. All the links are above me. What am I doing? Well, as you see by the title, I'm going to be drawing Skeletor. Why are you drawing Skeletor, Jerzy? Usually you're working on some comics work. Well, like I said in some previous streams, the work I'm doing right now I can't show publicly. That's one of the things about comics is sometimes you work on gigs where they don't want the world to see it until it's done. My personal work and the Captain Seriously work I can share while it's in progress. So, but I still want to do drawing live streams, and you know, I was working on a Baron von Bear piece to work on today, but I decided it wasn't done enough, and so I thought, well, I'll just do a warm-up drawing like I do sometimes, and I'll do a character. I was doing these watercolors a while back. Let me see, get this started. Let's see. What's the story on this? Oh, tools. Got Canson watercolor block, my watercolor tin, a travel tin that my wife made me for Christmas one year, and then I've got my mechanical Pentel pencil, couple of brush pens, couple of Microns in case I need them, Microns felt tip pens, and then my water brushes for when I do the watercoloring. So let's dive in and do it. And I can tell the story of how I came to doing these He-Man character drawings. So I'm a big fan of Masters of the Universe, particularly the Filmation cartoon. I like the toys. I like the extended mythology fine. But I'm probably the biggest fan of the Filmation cartoon. And back when we could go places, I used to go to PowerCon, the Masters of the Universe convention, with a friend of mine who's also a Masters of the Universe fan. And I'm also a fan of doing these art drops, doing drawings, little watercolor crayon drawings, and just leaving them places. I did a whole episode with my buddy Rob Stenzinger on the Lean Into Art cast. Oh, hey, Sean. Good to see you again. I'm telling the story of why I'm drawing Skeletor today instead of working on development of my personal projects or other freelance comics projects. So I did this episode on the Lean Into Art cast about art drops and why I like doing them. And check it out, I actually get to use my ruler for a change. I put his hand a little lower because I want to get space for that ram head or whatever the heck that is on the top of his Havoc staff. So like when I used to be in a bowling league, again, back when we could go places, I used to do little art drops at the bowling alley, and the idea is like just make a cool little thing for somebody to discover. I didn't make it into a contest or anything. It was just like I just leave it a place and forget about it. And the funny thing that happened at that bowling alley is I was in a league, so I was there every week. I was hoping kids would find the drawings, but bowling alley staff started to find them, and they started this wall of my drawings trying to figure out who the artist was. And then one of the staffers was like walking around while I was doing one, and they saw it, and they're like, "You're the guy!" I'm like, "Yeah." I wish you'd stop taking them. Let kids find them, because I put them next to the games that kids would play. Anyway, so the idea is that I like this idea of like just leaving a drawing someplace for somebody to discover and hopefully enjoy. And while I was at PowerCon, it occurred to me that, hey, I could be doing cool drawings of Masters of the Universe characters. I love them, love drawing them. So why not just drop a few drawings of characters around the convention center? It'd be my fun way to interact with PowerCon in a way where I feel like it's very natural to me. I feel like this is my first language. You know, it's super hard for me to walk up to people I don't know and be like, "Hi, you like He-Man? I like He-Man." You know. So this is a way for me to interact with the other people at the show in a way that was, you know, more suited to my temperament. Anyway, so I did this drawing of Clawful, and he had his big old claw arm up like this, in the sort of like this, you know, hand on the hip, and then the other arm up in this kind of like a muscle flex thing. And then I did Trapjaw, and I did the same pose, and I was like, well, I guess I'm doing all the characters like this pose, and so it became a challenge of seeing how I can get him to do that. So Skeletor, I tried it. The top of the Havoc staff proves a problem. Can't get the arm up that high, so it's roughly like the pose of the other characters. All right, let's see if I can get that skull face. That head is awful big. Let's fix that. Oh, Sean, you wanted to go to PowerCon to table. That never even occurred to me. I always just went just to, like, be an attendee. Never even occurred to me to try a table. Okay, there we go. That head feels a bit more appropriately proportioned. I think I've talked about this before, but I'm not going to. I'm not. I'm probably not the audience for the new Kevin Smith show based on the way it's been described to me. And I'm totally okay with that. I think it's awesome that the series or the franchise or the intellectual property, however you want to talk about it, is adaptable and flexible enough to be interpreted in lots of ways. I got the Filmation show. There's a lot of episodes. I feel well served by it. I'm not hungry for more of that. Because even if they did do it like the Filmation show, it's not going to be the same because it's not going to be Larry DiTilio, Earl Norem, Hal Sutherland. Now, those people aren't involved anymore, or they're gone. They're not with us anymore. So, and it's a different decade. I do this He-Man redesign lesson in my classes, and while a lot of kids wind up like really, like I do it with young kids. If I did it with teenagers once, and that was too hard for me. Listening to them just like rail against this property that I love. But I do it with little kids, and like a lot of times, some of them really grab onto the characters. They really enjoy it, but it's not the point of the exercise. I'm not trying to like indoctrinate them. Love what I love. But some ideas don't survive very well in a modern climate. In He-Man. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was, in its way, it was progressive for its time. You know what's funny is I think the thing that survives the doesn't stand the test of time, I guess, in terms of like the way modern kids react to the show, is I think the inherent pacifism of the show is kind of a letdown to children. I think they show up expecting more punching and fighting. And I have no recollection of whether or not that bothered me when I was a kid. Okay, so we've got shadowed on our pencils. Oh, wow, Sean. Yeah. Yeah. For people who grew up with that stuff, I was at a Transformers convention. See, I like actually going to like these pop culture conventions for like these very specific properties, like the Transformers, He-Man. And I like going just as like a fan, and actually getting to enjoy all the stuff happening instead of like participating when I table at conventions. And it was a Beast Wars panel. I love Beast Wars, and David Kaye, who played Beast Wars Megatron, said "maximal scum" out loud to the room, and like it just like you felt a wave move through there. And then Peter Cullen was there, and Peter Cullen's up on the stage, and he does the Autobots transform and roll out, and it's like, oh my gosh, you want to talk about goosebumps? I did not mean to make Skeletor's eyes so almond shaped, but I kind of like it. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm remembering that when I did the past Masters of the Universe drawings, I did them on hot press watercolor paper, which is smoother. So I'm getting a lot of texture here that I usually don't get. That's not to make an excuse for anything. It's just to explain the differences. Okay, I'm going to get in tight on this. So when I think about those experiences, going to those cons and getting to meet these actors and the writers of these shows, like getting to meet Robbie London, who wrote some Masters of the Universe episodes, getting to talk with people who knew Larry DiTilio. It makes you realize that, like, when we fall in love with something, when something moves us, when something touches us, like, we want to, like, reciprocate in some way. We want to respond to that, whatever signal we received, right? And why am I bringing that up? It's like something I am super not good at is letting the world know what I do. I had a friend recently tell me that he had no idea how to buy my books. And then he finally did some digging on the internet and found books of mine that he had never read. And like this is a friend who, like, he's like super supportive. He's like really in my corner, wants everything I do to be a success. He's exactly the kind of friend you want as a creative person. And when he said, like, man, you made me really work hard to support you. It's like, yeah, I got to work on that. And I think, like a lot of us creative types, I instantly feel like a little bit of a thrill of disgust at, like, promoting myself, marketing myself, making noise about the things that I do and what I have to offer. And then I think about, like, but why is it that, like, I don't feel weird about, like, you know, meeting Sergeant Slaughter and him charging me $20 for an autograph? It's like, yeah, it's a bargain at twice the price. Why is it okay for him to ask and not me? So I'm working on that. Oh, I don't like that line at all. That's fine. There's nothing to do about it because I got to paint this. Yeah, it does feel like a look at me thing, doesn't it? Something I'm trying to remind myself of, because, like, I know I'm super comfortable when somebody else does it, like invites me to a thing, right? If I'm invited to a thing, I'm like, well, they're the one who said I deserve to be here, you know. I need to flip my camera so it looks like I'm looking at the drawing, and sometimes when it's like how it's now my face head sometimes goes out of view, so you should flip the camera up. So, oh yeah, when I leaned out like this. Yeah. How about I turn the camera just a little bit? There. And actually, I could do this too. I could scoop my whole setup here. So when I lean down, I'm not disappearing. I mean, what's the point of having a camera on me if I'm going to pop out of frame, right? Thank you for that, Laughters. All right, this is purple. Memo to me. Check your camera setup before you start streaming. Why are my paints in the shot? I'm not using them yet. I'm going to try to do the staff entirely freehand, holding my breath. I'm going to get a little bit more definition on that face because I got more ink in the brush now. I think I'm just procrastinating from doing this staff line because I am spooked about doing it. All right. This is tough because I can't rest my hand on the paper. What have I done? It's okay. It's okay. I have not revisited New Adventures in a long time, and I need to. I have it. I have it on DVD. DVD, how about that for an old-timey sentiment? Who knew that would become a sign of old age? I know it has its fans, and I'm familiar with how it built on the mythology. Like, it is considered, it was meant to be a follow-up to the Filmation show, so I've been meaning to get back to it. I'm going to get my other brush. Well, see, that's just it, Sean. Is I think part of the appeal of the Filmation show too for me is the silliness of it, because I mean, I've been beating on this horse for a long time. This idea of what's going on there? What is that line? That line shouldn't be there. Incorporate into that. This idea of, I mean, you're talking about a television show where people wear furry underpants, and the main character is named He-Man. Like, how serious can it be? It's leading with silliness, right? Okay, I think I got it. Let's try just for a second, and then I'm going to erase my pencils. But, I mean, kudos if you can pull it off. If you can make a show that has, like, real serious drama, if it's like This Is Us, but with barbarians and furry underpants named He-Man, if you could do that, wow. Awesome. Good for you. Eraser. I also, I mean, I have a bias towards children's entertainment. I think children's entertainment is very important. And I think the people who work on children's entertainment most of the time have their hearts in the right place and are doing their best to serve their audience. And erasing has revealed to me some places where I got to touch up the inks. Another thing that makes it hard to talk about these kind of topics is that everybody takes it so personally. With it's like, well, I want my He-Man my way. I want my name and intellectual property my way. It's like, I get it. We get invested in this stuff. But we should be careful about our relationship with these things too. Because there's another way to say that. Is like, not for me. Right? Like the Michael Bay Transformers movies, not for me. It's okay. They're for somebody. A lot of people, apparently. That's great. Sean, I just read your count about Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah, I have big feelings around that cartoon as well. And, one of the things I like right off the bat, that theme song with that tender-voiced singer saying, come dream with me tonight. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. It's like you're going on an epic adventure with John Denver. Count me in. Oh, hey, Jonathan. Good to see you. All right, let's see if I got this. This blue. This blue should work just fine. Okay, I am going to put a background color behind him too. So I'm going to leave some space for that. Leave the option for a little bit of rim lighting. Yeah, I haven't drawn any Masters of the Universe characters in some time, so this is a nice way to warm up for the day. Reconnect with something I have a lot of affection for. Get this good and wet because I want to put in a shadow in here, and I want to make sure I mix it right. Did I get all the blues? All the blue parts? I think so. All right. Now let's mix a little bit of blue, a little bit of green. Get the blue-green going. More blue, please. Is that too green? Might be too green. Let's get a little bit more blue in there. Yep. He did that. He put too much green in his blue. There once was a man who put too much green in his blue. Mix over here in a different spot. Get a little bit of indigo in it too. There we go. That's better. That's what I was imagining in my head. Raise your hand if you've ever done a warm-up drawing that you know you're going to share online later, and you're kind of picturing in your head a specific person that you follow who you kind of respect. Actually, let's say you really respect, and you kind of hope you get a thumbs up from them. Busted, this kid. I'm thinking about her right now. I like to think about all of us artists all like sort of through our art sending little notes of respect and admiration to one another in the work that we do. Let's see, I'm going to get the purple for Skeletor's armor bits. Do I have it in here? I had a... Sorry, went out of frame. Had to pick something up. I did a thing recently that I think I'm going to try with some of my next warm-ups. I did this watercolor mixing chart, and this is based on this particular 12-pan travel kit that I have. And I was thinking about scanning this in and actually using this as a color palette in one of my next digital watercolor drawings. Just because you can see all the variation that you get there that you don't get when you pick just a digital color. I'd love to have this so I could eyedropper different parts of the color, right? I'm thinking about that. That's a preview of one of my streams coming up. Oh, Jonathan, yeah, like when somebody that you admire in the industry interacts with your thing, you're like, oh, I didn't even know they were aware of. I've been there, where I didn't even know you knew who I was. So that's like a double bonus, right? That's not why we do it. It's not why we do it, but we're evolved primates who long for connection. Let's go back to the thing I was talking about earlier at the top of this, about this idea of when something moves us, we want to reciprocate. We want to send a signal back saying, message received, I loved it. I'm also very careful about talking about that stuff. This came up actually on Twitter. How would they say it? On Kidlit Twitter. Somebody was saying, when kids ask you, are you famous? You get that a lot. When I was on book tour for Rockets with Ann, one of the questions we most often got was, are you famous? And don't you want to talk about how we made the book? No, we just want to know if you're famous. And I developed this pat answer. I have a slide deck that's at the end of my presentations, and it's all pictures of me with quote unquote famous authors, hanging in a social capacity, hanging out with them. And say, oh yeah, here's some people that are we famous? Well, we know we hang out with these famous people, and I start showing the different people, and the kids are going, oh, they're all gasping. And I say, yeah, and this is all to say that the industry is very small. We all know each other. And which means it's super important to be a nice person, because if you're a jerk, we all talk, word gets around fast. So there's a practical reason to be kind. Okay, let's turn that narrative around, because let's not get too hung up on this whole idea of being famous, popular, social hierarchies and things like that. I feel like that's a dangerous place to rest our minds. So I'm bringing that up as a way to qualify my statement about thinking about people that I admire in the industry interacting with this drawing. Okay. Let's get a little lighter purple. Yeah, fan art can be a form of reciprocation, right? Jonathan has drawn my characters before, and it was intensely moving to receive it. John David Guerra, another artist that I admire, sent me fan art of some of my characters. get a little black in there. Come on, black, work with me. There we go. Get a nice grayish purple. Oh, come on. Now for the face. Fortunately, I have a whole bunch of yellow right here. Whoa. Skeletor, is your eye crying? What happened there? I thought I was using waterproof pens. Get the tiniest bit of green in there. How about a little bit of yellow gouache? Okay. Almost there. Let's do the shading on the purple. And for that, I'm going to get a little bit of indigo. And a little bit of green. Mix that with some purple. That's too dark. I'm going to wet my brush a little bit so I can thin it out. There we go. I feel like I'm losing some of the definition on Skeletor's little chest plate thing. By the way, with what, 20 minutes to go? Today at noon Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, so in approximately an hour and 20 minutes, my buddy Rob Stenzinger and I are streaming a Lean Into Artcast Read, Watch, Play episode. So we're going to talk about what we're reading, watching, and playing. Why? Why do you do that? Well, we think it's important to check in on the media we consume to see, like, you know, how it's inspiring us, how it moves us. Of course I'm going to put red behind Skeletor. He's evil. So we'll be streaming right where you're watching it right now. If you want to bring what you've been reading, watching, playing to the discussion and why. Is it something you do for just like unplugging, pure relaxation, enjoyment? Is there something especially uplifting or inspiring about it that makes you more excited about doing the work that you do? I always come up short on the playing topic, though. I just do not get to play games as much as I would like. Kind of not crazy about the Skeletor's face. Looks a little muddy. I'm going to try to clean that up a little bit. Get my brush cleaned up just a touch. Just put some water over here. Blot it out. Careful not to blot out my reds. Look at that. Already getting better. That's a little better. So now let's mix up some blue with that red to do the rim lighting. I'm going to need my big water brush here to clean up this area. In case you want to see what I'm doing here. Talking about like keep my head in the shot, also keep the brush in the shot. All right, and a little bit of blue. Just the tiniest bit. Okay. Listen to that exciting music, egging me on. You can do this. Oh, I didn't realize I got some of that purple on his finger there. Let's see if I can fix that real quick. Look at that. You have an undo button in watercoloring. That's too dark. That's definitely too dark. Oh my goodness. There we go. Look at me coming in all hot on everything. Don't overwork it, Jerzy. Do I happen to know of any online resources to learn watercoloring? It is relaxing. Let me tell you, I came to this thing kicking and screaming. I was so afraid to do it, and I love doing it now. Actually, the teacher that I learned from is teaching online, as a matter of fact. I can look up her the link to her online courses. Her name is Claudia. Goodness, I'd have to dig a little bit to find out the link. She gave me a link to her online courses a while back. I'll tell you what. I'll put a link to Claudia's class in the notes for this video, like in the description underneath. Once I find it. But I imagine there's probably some like courses on like Udemy or something on how to do this stuff too. But I'm a little uncertain on how an online course would work for watercolor. I don't know. I guess there were some exercises that I really benefited from that like got me like out of my own way and like just focused on just playing with what the tools can do. It's like one of our first lessons was, and you've probably seen this in like online videos that I watch on my cell phone telephone. You watch some of these videos where they'll just take the color and they'll start out with like fully saturated and then they slowly work it until it's desaturated and they make these lines of like these gradients of color. And the impatient child in me was like, I thought we were going to learn how to paint, you know? But like learning how to just practicing that one skill like contributed to all of this that I was able to do today. Like just understanding how to like work the color into different shades of different gradiated shades. I think that's what I benefited from the most, was just like the way she like broke out the skill building into like digestible little activities that, so you're not, well, again, this is like something I talk about all the time on like my podcasts and in my classes is like when you sit down to do a comic, you're asking yourself 1,000 questions. And can you chunk out those questions in a way so that you're not fighting too many battles at the same time. There we go. I think it's getting there. But yes, this is I enjoyed this as a break from doing my digital work. I also am kind of coming to question early assertions I made about myself as an artist. Like, I'm a cartoonist. Well, that's part of who I am. That's not all of who I am. What? 30-year-old Jerzy would be outraged. I know. You'll be okay, though, kid. Something more purple in there. As soon as we can like go places again, if you have a community art center where there's a watercolor class and you think this looks intriguing, I highly recommend that you take it. They're not that expensive. I think I paid like $250 for an 8-week course. And considering the skill that I built in that room, that feels like, as Paddington Bear would say, very good value indeed. All right, now, how much time do I have left? I have like 7 minutes. I have an abundance of time. I'm going to try to do one more thing with this. Now, my white pen has not been very cooperative lately. I feel like it's almost out of ink. What is this? This is a Uniball Sino. Sino, okay. Yeah, it feels like I'm going to try to get a sheet of paper here to see if I can get a flow going with it. Yeah, it's really being a... Oh, come on, Sino. I wanted to use you so bad. I might need to get a new one. Yeah, I wanted to put a little white outline around Skeletor. Almost there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. I believe in you. Almost there. You almost got it. Yay! Sino! Getting a white line again. Okay, let's put a white outline around Skeletor. Just add a little bit of extra contrast and definition to the drawing. Come on, Sino. Even do a little bit of white on Skeletor's noggin there to add a little extra definition. There we go. Oh, Sino, come on. Work with me again. We were doing so well together. There we go. I want to do it a few more places. I think we did it. I think in 56 minutes we did it. You were there cheering me on. Managed to put together a decent warm-up watercolor. So, if you had fun, if you care to, please consider hitting like on the video. I understand that helps more people find out about the video. And I do these streams Mondays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. No, 11, that'd be 9 a.m. Central. And even earlier as you progress westward. But those of you in more eastern parts of the world, later in the day for you. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me. Live up there so we can see it. Well, here, I can give you a close-up. Here we go. Despite the fact there's a shadow here. Ah, come on. So, thanks everybody for hanging out with me and chatting with me about art. I love it. It's so much fun, and it's great to have company while I'm doing these drawings. Yeah, everybody in the chat, have a great day. And until next time, I've been Jerzy Drozd, jdrozd.com, Jerzy Drozd on Instagram. Okay, bye.